I've been watching the New York Giants ever since I was a little kid and not interested in sports of any kind. And even though I didn't watch, the air around New York and Northeast New Jersey was fresh. I felt it. I remember my family throwing a Super Bowl party in 2008 when the Giants took down the undefeated and seemingly unstoppable New England Patriots. Eli Manning was in his 4th year. He overcame the ones who didn't believe in him, and it was a battle I believe that he fought within himself every day to get better. The Giants found what they knew they needed to get out of Daniel Jones, and Brian Daboll is the man behind it all. The task in front of them right now stands fairly tall. The Eagles were the team with the best record in the league, an MVP frontrunner at QB, and possibly the coach of the year. But the Giants have one thing the Eagles don't, and that's nothing to lose. New York's last playoff win, prior to the one against Minnesota on Sunday, was the Super Bowl win in 2012, and whatever happens in Philly, I know it'll be a fight down to the very end. New York has built the team ready to play anyone. They're healthy, they're hungry, and like I said, no matter what the outcome is, the future is bright. Brian Daboll is the man that saved Josh Allen. He got everything he could out of that QB. He was raw in terms of mechanics and almost everything fundamentally. He fixed him, and he's fixing DJ and the Giants, and I want to show exactly how that journey has gone. I want to start off by saying the Giants don't have the best record or the best roster by any means. They've struggled to find a receiver who they can consistently count on, but I think they found him. Maybe, at least for now. They've had struggles on the O-line and stopping the run on defense, but I think for now at least, they've got the hang of it. The momentum from winning a road playoff game is no joke. Bill Belichick said it himself, it's about who plays the better game on game day, not who has the better record or what have you. Aside from that point, my main point is the Giants have room to improve. However, the improvement that they've had from last season to this season is nothing short of a miracle. Sometimes I teeter between coaching being more important than having a loaded roster, and a loaded roster being more important than having good coaching. And it truly is an anomaly. You can always chop it up as having to be balanced in those aspects. I think this Giants team truly blows any opinion that having big names on your roster is the only way to go right out of the water. As a head coach, in the most simple way to put it, your job is about putting your team in the best position to succeed. And you think that's obvious, all coaches do that. No, that's not what all coaches do. Look at how the Giants ran an offense last year. Personnel use was out of whack. Jason Garrett wanted to run an offense like he had an Amari Cooper, a Des Bryant, and a Jason Witten, and a Cole Beasley, but he didn't. He had guys that had no motivation or understanding what the identity was on offense. Brian Daboll puts his players in a position to succeed. He uses Daniel Bellinger, a 4th-round tight end who probably wouldn't even be starting on any other roster. He uses him everywhere. Isaiah Hodgins and Darius Slayton were given chances and they've ran with them. Even with Kenny Golladay being a shell of his former self, Wan'Dale Robinson and Sterling Shepard going down with injuries, Daboll and Mike Kafka have still managed to find guys to make plays. The most important piece, obviously, is Saquon Barkley. Sprinkle in a little Matt Breida, and that's what you build around. It's very similar to what the Titans do with Derrick Henry. Just a year ago, the Giants were second to dead last next to Houston in total offense, scoring a pathetic 15.2 points per game. They were slightly below average on defense, allowing 24.5 points per game, and their turnover margin was -8, with a league-leading 30 turnovers. The offense made a significant leap from 31st to 18th in yards per game, and went from 31st in points per game to 15th in points per game this year. And they have a +3 turnover differential, cutting the giveaways to just 16 total this season and only 8 by Daniel Jones, which was by far his career low. What a turnaround it really is when you look at it from just last year to now. I really want to highlight some of the most important parts of the Giants offense and some of the plays which are responsible for the success that they've had this year. Here's a play that came against Green Bay in London, and I remember not getting any sleep the night before because I was so excited to watch it. And I knew it was a big game, and never in my life did I think I'd see Daniel Jones and the Giants come back from multiple 10-point deficits against Aaron Rodgers, but it happened. And I honestly think that this was the pivotal moment where NFL fans, writers, and analysts all started to take the Giants seriously. So Saquon's going to get the pass on a drag route, and this is why I like how Brian Daboll and Kafka and the staff run their offense. On a big play, in a big-time game, you put your best player in a position to succeed, and they draw him open. They don't care that he's a running back. He's their best player. The Giants put him behind Marcus Johnson to give him a free release, and the other routes clear out the zone and open up a spot for Saquon to get a huge gain. And just like that, get it to 26 and good things will happen. That's been the Giants' motto this season. I love when teams run play action. When it works, it simply makes everything better, so much easier on an offense. And just this past game against Minnesota, the Giants ran play action in a creative formation where they split Matt Breida out wide. They bring him in with Saquon sometimes on certain run plays where either of them get the ball. So the defense has to be honest here. They have to keep their eye on him because he can fly, Matt Breida. He's one of the fastest running backs players in the league. It's just another example of using everyone on your roster in the right situations. They motion Breida and play fake to Saquon, who's lined up behind the guard and tackle, and that just spreads the defense out a tad bit more, and it sucks up the defense. Ultimately, the play fake doesn't really do it, but Darius Slayton is wide open here for a huge gain, and Hodges is going to clear Harrison Smith. And Breida, Saquon, and Bellinger are going to keep the linebackers from carrying anything deep downfield. And they had a perfect play drawn up against this coverage. It's simple but deadly. Great play call. In another must-win game against the Commanders, I think this play and this drive shows you how the team and the staff know how to make it easy on themselves. Saquon is going to rip off a nice run here and get a first down on this trap play. Traps are really nice when they work. The left guard is going to leave his guy to down block on the linebacker and let the right guard who's pulling to take him out, and they open up a nice hole for Barkley. The whole drive, they stick with the run, and they only scored a field goal, but it was enough to ice the game. They stuck with Barkley because it was working. And if the run game is working like that, you stick with it no matter what, until they can't stop you. That's just good coaching. And, great work by the O-line on all of these runs. Getting Glowinski and Feliciano, the emergence of Andrew Thomas from the last 2 seasons, it really shows that it's making a difference. I want to throw some praise Daniel Jones' way too. As much as the scheme in Barkley has helped him, he's played great. All good quarterbacks are products of a system that's ran well, and Jones has played well, especially as of late. This season, he's made throws in tight windows, showing everyone why the Giants drafted him. This play is a deep throw to Hodgins against Minnesota in the Week 18 matchup, and it's a double move, and I gotta be honest, I think the Giants have found their guy in Isaiah Hodgins, at least for this season. I don't know if he's gonna end up being a wide receiver 2 for them, wide receiver 3, or even if he's gonna be on the team at all. He was on the Bills practice squad in November before they even picked him up. And now the guy that the Bills didn't even want on their starting roster has now become arguably one of the most important pieces on that whole team. He puts a nice move here on Peterson. He gets him to bite, and Jones just lays it out perfectly. Daniel Jones has played some really good football, while the Giants sorted out their situation at receiver this year, and he finally has a connection to certain guys now. He's really played great all season. I really like the Giants. I don't know what will happen against Philly. The one thing I think of is the scene from Miracle where Kurt Russell addresses the team, and he says if we played them 10 times, they might win 9, but not this game. Not tonight. They will play Saturday night in Philly, and it'll be a great matchup against a division rival. Cold, Philly and New York on a Saturday. No school, no work the next day. It's going to be brutal. The Giants fans and the Philly fans at each other's throat. Nobody's safe in that stadium. That's playoff football, and I can't wait to watch it. Right now, though, Daniel Jones just got his first playoff win, and I think it's safe to say that he and Saquon Barkley will be back next season. As long as Brian Daboll is there, he knows what he needs on that roster. Him and Don Martindale, the defensive coordinator, just feel like a match. I just get a good vibe seeing them both on the sideline together because the Giants needed that. They needed proven coaches with pedigree, coaches with class who have been there and done that, who have coached all different kinds of players. This team exceeded expectations and then some. It took them until December to really figure out who was a consistent enough pass catcher that they can target 10 times a game if they needed to. I feel like with that win, that playoff win on the road in a hostile environment against a team who wins all of those kinds of games, all of those close games, that was it. If you needed any more clarity for the future, that playoff win is just one of many for this team. Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, Kate Tibbs, Barkley, Hodgins, McKinney, Adoree Jackson. There are some ballers on this team, some straight up bullies. They don't need the big name, they just need each other. You give them an inch, and they might take it all the way.